Zuri woke up to darkness. Her head was pounding. The air smelled like dust, sweat, and rusted metal. Her wrists were tied behind her back, the ropes rough and tight. She blinked hard, trying to remember where she was, how she got here. The floor was cold beneath her. Above, a single broken bulb flickered weakly. She wasn't in any hotel. She wasn't anywhere safe. A low moan beside her made her jolt. "Lami?" she whispered. Her little sister lay nearby, curled up, shaking. Her cheeks were wet with tears, and her tiny hands clutched her stomach in pain. "Zuri," she cried weakly. "I'm so cold." Zuri crawled toward her, dragging her tied hands behind her. "I'm here, baby. I'm right here." She looked around. The room had no windows, just metal walls and crates stacked in corners. A warehouse, an abandoned one. The door creaked. 2 men stood outside. They weren't police. They weren't rescue. They were the same men who had grabbed her. One of them laughed as he saw her awake. "Finally, Sleeping Beauty's up." The other kicked a small bottle toward her. "You should have behaved. Then maybe we'd have brought medicine. For your sick sister." Zuri's blood froze. "What do you want from us?" The first man shrugged. "Orders are orders." She wanted to scream, but fear held her mouth shut. A sharp memory hit her, like lightning. The last thing she remembered was leaving the hotel. She had walked out of the back entrance, holding Lami's hand. A man had called her name. Before she could turn, a cloth was pressed to her mouth. Everything had gone black. It hadn't been her decision. She never quit the hotel. She had never submitted her badge. So why did everyone think she resigned? Zuri's heart stopped. She remembered the note. A resignation letter. Typed, folded, neatly, signed with her name. But she had never written it. She had never even touched a keyboard. Who forged it? Her breathing grew heavy. She looked down at her hands, then at Lami. None of this was an accident. Jabari's mother's voice echoed in her mind. "You're just a cleaner. Stay in your place." Zuri stared at the ceiling. It was her, the woman behind the tea, behind the insults, behind this prison. Zuri screamed. Lami coughed violently beside her. Zuri twisted her arms, trying to break the rope, but the fibers only burned deeper into her skin. "No one's coming," one of the men said casually. "Might as well stop fighting." But Zuri's eyes, full of pain, burned with something else now. She wasn't just scared. She was angry. "Please," Zuri begged, crawling to the warehouse door. Her knees were scraped, and her voice was nearly gone. "My sister needs medicine. She's burning with fever." The 2 guards looked at each other. One lit a cigarette. The other laughed. "We'll see," he said. "Depends on how good you behave today." Zuri pressed her face against the cold floor beside Lami. The little girl was shivering, sweat soaking through her old dress. "I'll do anything," Zuri whispered, tears falling. "Just help her." The guard tossed an empty water bottle toward her. "Here, that's all for now." Zuri stared at it, her heart cracked open. She held Lami tightly, whispering prayers through gritted teeth. Far away, in a mansion filled with gold and silence, Mrs. Ifeoma Adeyemi poured tea into 2 delicate cups. Across from her sat Adayeze Ojukwu, a wealthy, poised daughter of a business tycoon. "You've met Jabari before, haven't you?" Mrs. Adeyemi asked with a cold smile. Adais nodded. "At the gala last year. He was charming." "I believe you'd be perfect for each other," she said calmly. "He needs someone of class, someone who fits our name." She slid an engagement ring box across the table. "Make sure it fits. You'll be wearing it soon." Meanwhile, Jabari sat alone in his hotel suite, staring at a photo of Zuri. He hadn't seen her in days. No goodbye. No word. Everyone said she resigned, that she walked away, but his heart refused to believe it. His mother entered quietly, holding the same ring box. "She left you, Jabari," she said softly. "But this girl, Adaize, will stay. She's strong, smart, worthy." He said nothing. He just nodded, his face empty, his soul silent. Back in the warehouse, night fell. Zuri curled around Lami's body like a shield. The child's lips were dry, her skin burning, her breath thin. "Hold on, Lami," Zuri whispered. "I'll get you out. I promise. I'll find a way." But Lami didn't answer. Her small hand slipped from Zuri's grasp. Her chest stopped moving. "No," Zuri whispered. "No, no, no." She shook her. "Lami, wake up, please." Nothing. Zuri's scream tore through the warehouse walls. The guards looked at each other, alarmed. She wasn't crying anymore. She was howling, like a mother who had lost a child. Because in that moment, she had. Zuri didn't speak for 2 days. Not a word. She sat in the corner of the warehouse, legs pulled to her chest, eyes wide and empty. The guards stopped mocking her. Even they felt the weight of the silence. She didn't cry anymore. She didn't ask for food. She just sat there, staring at the wall like she was watching death, replay over and over. A guard dropped a plate near her. She didn't touch it. Later, he whispered to his friend, "She's losing it. Might die in here herself." But on the third night, something changed. Zuri didn't sit still. She waited till they slept, used her tied foot to drag a sharp piece of spoon from under a crate. Then, she started working the rope behind her back, slowly, quietly. Hours passed, one knot loosened, just when she reached for the door. A voice growled, "Where do you think you're going?" A fist hit her cheek, then another. They didn't kill her, but they made sure she remembered one thing. She wasn't going anywhere. Elsewhere, Jabari stood in front of a mirror, adjusting the collar of his engagement outfit. Adaize's family was preparing the press announcement. The invitation cards were ready. His mother looked pleased, but Jabari couldn't smile. That night, he dreamed of Zuri. She was crying, reaching for him through a steel gate. He woke up in sweat. The next morning, he told his assistant, "I want Zuri's employee file." At the hotel HR office, he scanned the documents. Resume, application, last paycheck. Then, her resignation letter, typed, neat, cold. But the signature didn't match the rest of her records. His brows tightened. "This isn't her handwriting," he said. The clerk shrugged. "It was submitted by a supervisor that night. You'll have to ask them." Jabari stood up, his hands clenched, and for the first time in days, his heart started to race. The mansion was full of music and flowers. Drums played softly. Waiters carried golden trays. Cameras flashed. Guests dressed in fine lace and silk entered one by one. They were there for the engagement of Jabari Adeyemi, one of Nigeria's richest sons, to Adaize Ojukwu, the pride of a wealthy family. His mother walked with confidence through the halls. Her gown sparkled like moonlight. She smiled at guests, hugged dignitaries, took pictures with joy. But Jabari was missing. He wasn't in the house. He had left an hour ago. Without telling anyone, Jabari sat alone in a dark car, following a silver Mercedes from a distance. His driver didn't speak. He didn't ask questions. Jabari had told him, "Just follow that car, no matter where it goes." The Mercedes turned off the main road, entered an old, broken area. Factories, warehouses, forgotten streets. Jabari narrowed his eyes. What is she doing here? The car stopped outside a rusty building. Jabari stayed low in the back seat, watching. His mother stepped out, holding a purse and a cruel smile. Inside the warehouse, Zuri sat like a ghost. Her face was swollen from bruises, her clothes torn, her spirit gone. When the door opened, she didn't even look up, but the voice made her flinch. Well, well, look who still has breath, Mrs. Adeyemi said. Zuri's lips trembled. Why are you here? To see your face one last time, she said calmly. Today's my son's engagement. You remember him, don't you? Zuri didn't reply. Mrs. Adeyemi stepped closer and whispered, You thought you could replace me in his heart. Foolish girl. You're nothing. She leaned in, eyes sharp. This world doesn't belong to cleaners. It belongs to legacies. Outside, Jabari heard every word. He had slipped through a side door and hidden behind old crates. His body was frozen. His breath gone. The mother he trusted. The girl he loved. And the truth. Undeniable. She never left him. She was taken. And she was suffering. Tears filled Jabari's eyes. His heart didn't just break. It shattered. Jabari didn't wait another second. He pushed through the warehouse door. Footsteps echoing across the cold floor. The guards jumped up, but he didn't even look at them. His eyes were locked on her. Zuri. She was curled on the ground, motionless, her body thin and bruised, her face swollen, her arms scraped and weak. She looked half alive. Zuri! He shouted, kneeling beside her. No answer. Her lips were dry, her breathing shallow. One of her shoes was missing. He touched her face gently, panic rising in his chest. Wake up, please. She didn't move. He scooped her up into his arms, holding her like she was made of glass. His suit stained with her blood and sweat, but he didn't care. As he turned to leave, his mother stepped into view, frozen. What have you done? Jabari growled. Mrs. Adeyemi opened her mouth, but no words came. He walked past her, without a single glance. The car ride was silent, except for Jabari, whispering, Hold on, please just hold on. They reached the hospital in minutes. Doctors rushed out. Nurses shouted codes. Zuri was wheeled away. He stood alone in the hallway, covered in pain, guilt, and shame. His phone buzzed. It was his engagement coordinator. Sir, everyone's waiting. The bride's ready. It's cancelled, Jabari said flatly. But the guests. I said it's cancelled. He ended the call. Through the phone, across the floor, in the hospital room, Zuri lay still. Tubes in her arms, machines beeping gently. Jabari sat beside her, head in his hands. He cried. Not the quiet, rich man tears of frustration, but deep, ugly, broken sobs of a man who had lost more than he could carry. She lost her sister, he whispered. And I almost lost her. He remembered the way Lami had smiled, the soft sound of her cough, the day he visited their home. Now she was gone, and it was all because of him and his mother. He stood slowly, left the hospital without a word. The mansion was too quiet. When he arrived, his mother was sitting in the living room, sipping wine, trying to act like nothing had happened. He walked in slowly. She looked up. You should change clothes before someone sees. Jabari pulled a pistol from behind his back and placed it gently on his own forehead. Mrs. Adeyemi dropped her glass. Jabari! I lost her because of you. Put that down. He didn't blink. You took everything from her. Now I have nothing left. Please, she begged. I didn't mean... He stared at her. Broken. Silence. Then, slowly, he lowered the gun. Mrs. Adeyemi fell to her knees, shaking. Tears streamed down her proud face for the first time in years. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I went too far." Jabari said nothing. He walked away, leaving the pistol on the table. That same night she went to the hospital. Zuri lay asleep, pale and weak, her skin bruised, her lips cracked. Machines beeped beside her like tiny clocks counting her pain. Mrs. Adeyemi stood at the door with flowers in her hand, but she couldn't step inside. She couldn't face what she had done. She placed the bouquet on the window ledge, then turned and walked away. Zuri woke the next morning to sunshine and silence. Her arms ached. Her soul felt heavier than her bones. Jabari was asleep in a chair near the bed, his face resting on his arms. His expensive shirt was wrinkled. His beard had grown uneven. She watched him quietly. No hate, no smile, just emptiness. When Jabari woke up and saw her eyes open, his breath caught. "You're awake," he said softly. She nodded once. "I'm sorry," he whispered. I didn't know any of it. I would have torn down the world to find you sooner." Zuri turned her head away. She didn't cry. She didn't speak. She simply asked, "Where's Lami?" Jabari's face broke. "I buried her 2 days ago," he said quietly, "with flowers. I made sure." Zuri closed her eyes and didn't say another word. That evening, Jabari brought her home. Not to the mansion, but to a quiet, safe apartment. Doctors visited, nurses came. Her wounds slowly healed, but her silence never left. She didn't talk. She didn't touch him. She just existed. One day she walked out to the balcony. Jabari followed. He stood beside her, holding a small velvet box. "I had this made for you," he said, "before all of it, when I thought love was enough." She opened it. A gold band sat inside, simple, beautiful. Zuri stared at it, then closed the box gently. She whispered, "The girl you wanted to marry, she died with her sister." Jabari's heart cracked. Zuri didn't run this time. She stayed in the quiet room Jabari gave her. The bed was soft, the sheets clean. Food was warm, water ran freely. Nurses came and went. But she stared out the window every day, with eyes that saw nothing. Not long ago, she was a girl who blushed when he smiled, who dreamed of love, freedom, and saving her sister. Now she was silent, still, cold. Her hands didn't shake anymore, but her heart didn't flutter either. Jabari sat outside her room every night, hoping she'd speak, hoping she'd say his name the way she used to. But the girl he loved had died the night Lami did, and what remained was someone new, stronger, quieter, unforgiving. Was Zuri still capable of love? Or would she choose vengeance over healing? Would she destroy the family that destroyed hers? Or walk away from the pain and from him forever? Don't miss part 3. Zuri will speak again. But what will she say? Subscribe now. The fire in her chest is rising, and this time she's not afraid to burn something down.